Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Address. This is the second video this week. We're only doing two videos. The first, we looked at four totals. In this video, we're going to look at four ATS bets, and we're going to start right off the bat with Buffalo going into New England. And Buffalo is now minus 8.5. They were minus 9. There's money coming in on the Patriots, and well, I don't get it. And I'm not a guy that regularly takes road chalk, especially at minus 8.5. But who else are you supposed to bet in this game? Buffalo is the third best team defensively in allowing points scored. 14.8 points per game. They're the top team, a top 10 team in passing yards allowed. And they do have one weakness, and that is stopping the run, which is pretty much all New England will do anyway on Sunday. But will it matter? I don't think so. We have the third best defensive team in football playing one of the worst offensive teams in memory. New England is in the bottom of the 10 in the league in allowing points. So forget how bad they are offensively. They're totally shit defensively as well. Even after the scoring disaster known as Sunday night, the Bills are still the third highest scoring team in the league. New England, second lowest team in points scored, averaging a pathetic 12 points per game. Could you imagine averaging 12 points a game and not playing the third best defense in the league yet? How many points is this New Orleans team actually going to score? So here we have a game where one team is in the top 3 in scoring, playing against a defense that can't stop anyone, while the other team can't score at all, playing against a defense that can stop everyone, including Miami. As well, I love betting the Bills after they play like crap. Now, I know that they played like crap in London, and then they came back and played like crap again. But man, coming back from London, that just screws everybody up. It just messes with the chemistry, messes with the flow, the rhythm of the team. I'm going to throw the Sunday night game with the Giants out the window. The bottom line here is New England is not putting up more than 13 points in this game. And the Bills, they're going to put up at least 28. My projected score in this game after handicapping it was 31 for Buffalo, 13 for New England. I'll take the 9, and I'll take it all day long. And you get it for 8.5. So, frankly, I'd take it at minus 13. Buffalo is the play in that game. Guys, before we go on, I want to make mention my records so far this year. Last week, we had a great week for the listeners of this show. We went 9-6, another winning week. Our combined total record on the NFL Presidential Address across every show this year, 49 wins, 32 losses. This is must-watch TV. 49 wins, 32 losses. In the video prior to this, we looked at 4 games. We took unders in all 4 of those games. This year, I am 11-4 to the under for my clients. I know what I'm talking about. This video, we're looking at ATS games. Since the beginning of last NFL season, I am 26-11 in ATS bets. 26-11 in ATS bets. And we've got 4 for you on this show. Let's move our attention to the Detroit Lions. They're playing Baltimore this week, and the line is Detroit +3. Let me start by saying I love this Lions team. I think they might be the third best team in all of football. Furthermore, I do not love this Ravens team and think Lamar Jackson is way too inconsistent a quarterback to rally behind. This is not a great Ravens team, and they lost 2 disgusting games already this season to Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. This Detroit team is vicious. They can run. They can pass. They can pass deep. They can play clock control. They can score quickly. They can score slowly. They can basically do whatever they want. Like, Picture Samantha Ponder in my bedroom. That's the Detroit Lions. Whatever they want. The Lions are the fourth best team in football in points scored, the fifth best team in passing, and a top 10 team in rushing. And trust me, when all is said and done, they're going to be in the top 5 in rushing as well. As for the Lions' defense, they are top 10 in keeping their opponents off the scoreboard. They are literally impossible to run against. That's the Ravens' best quality. Just ask Tampa Bay how hard it is to run on this Detroit Lions team. Ask anyone who's played against Detroit how hard it is to run against them. They are the number 1 run D in the league. They have allowed an average of 65 yards on the ground a game. Also, keep in mind that I don't like betting on teams coming back from London. We saw the egg that the Bills laid last week, and now it's Baltimore's turn. The bottom line here is that the Lions are not only better than the Ravens in just about every single stat, but they are much better than the Ravens overall. I honestly don't understand this line, and clearly the Lions bettors are still taking advantage of their historical perception. I think Detroit wins this game straight up. I'll take the 3. We're going with Detroit +3 against Baltimore. Now we turn our attention to the LA Chargers. They are +5.5 against Kansas City. And man, this Chargers team is so strange. I mean, Khalil Mack, Bosa, strong secondary, and yet their defense stinks half the time. Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, and yet their offense can't get out of their way some of the time. This is a badly coached football team. With that said, let's break this game down. KC is the number 2 team in the league in points allowed. They have allowed their opponents 14.7 points per game, which is super impressive, but I really think completely phony. Like totally not a statistic I believe in. Even though it is data, even though it is math, and even though it is a fact, the bottom line on this D is they have not played a top 10 offense yet this year. They allowed the Jets to put up 20 on them. For some great D team, that can't happen. They are good, don't get me wrong, but they are not great, and the Chargers will expose them. I'm also not impressed with Kansas City's offense right now. And until they get a primetime wide receiver, I think they will struggle to get distance on anyone. They barely beat Denver, and although they won, they only scored 19 points. They almost lost to Minnesota and got lucky. They only beat the Jets 23-10, and they only put up 17 against Jacksonville. This team has had one good offensive game all year, and well, that was against the Bears. Go figure. As for the Chargers, well, they can score on anyone at any time. If I can get them over a field goal in pretty much any game they play, I'm at least looking to bet them. Even if you look at the game against Dallas last night, where they put up only 17, they were able to move the ball up and down the field, and they left a ton of points on the table. A couple of missed throws here, a couple of missed fourth downs. All of a sudden, they get those, it's 30 points. This Chargers team seems to live or die on fourth down conversions, and it has been more die. But at least we know they can move the ball, and they will still get a few of those fourth down conversions. They're going to get themselves some TDs. This Charger team can win this game outright. And now we're getting 6 points, 5.5 points against the KC team that has played Denver, Minnesota, the Jets, and the Bears in 4 of their 6 games. Let's see what happens when they actually face a real team. In order for Kansas City to cover this number, they will need at least 31, and they don't have it in them yet to get 31. They haven't done that this year, excluding the Bears game. This is way too many points and way too big an ask for a KC team that doesn't have a wide receiver and are playing a divisional game. Now, I know you're all saying, well, how are the Chargers for real, Prez? They're 2-3. They're as shitty as the Jets and the rest of these teams. I don't buy it. I think this Chargers team is much better than their record. Last year, KC, a much better KC team, beat the Chargers by 3 points in both their games. How's the number 5.5? You know what? Who cares? We're taking the Chargers plus 5.5 against Kansas City. Now we turn our attention to Washington. They're going in to play the New York Giants. The number is -2 now. Money is coming in on Washington as we speak. Look, I really like what Washington is building right now. Sure, they're not contenders, but this is a team heading in the right direction. On defense, they're led by Young, Sweat. How bad does that sound? They're led by Young, Sweat. Anyway, they have a top front seven. On offense, they have a good, even great wide receiver core, good, even great tight end. They have a decent running game, and Sam Howell is showing that he belongs in this league. Washington's biggest problem, period, is bad coaching and bad play calls. And yet, despite that, they are 3-3 and in the hunt for the playoffs. Now they face the Giants, which, to be honest, had an aberration last year and are now back to sucking crap. Sure, they played well against the Bills. Well, defensively. But they still only put up 9 points. They were able to move the ball. So at least that's an improvement. But again, they still only scored 9 points. I don't understand who constructed this Giants team. It isn't like they won the league year after year after year and drafted last for the last decade. This is a team who has had a ton of draft capital and basically Brex'd themselves. Sam Bankman-Fried would be impressed with how badly this team used their draft capital. The Giants have no one anywhere with no light at the end of the tunnel. Sure, Barkley is good, but he's injury prone, and frankly, a running back ain't going to win you 13 games. Ask the Barry Sanders-led Detroit Lions. This is a rivalry game. And yes, both teams will get up for it. But the Giants have lost their Viagra. They couldn't get up with a blue pill. The Giants have averaged 12 points a game this year. 12 points! And we are 6 games in. That is horrific. The worst in all of football. I know Washington isn't a juggernaut. I know they have issues, especially on D, but the Giants can't take advantage of that. I'm not going to sit here and overthink this play. Is this the week the Giants turn it around? Is this the week the Giants finally score? Is this the week? Is this the week? Is this the week? Screw that. It's not the week. We're going to take the better team here with road wins already under their belt, with a better D, with a better offense, and with a better feeling going into this game. Take Washington -2 against the New York Giants. That's it, guys. 2 videos this week. The first video was 4 total bets. This video is 4 ATS bets. It has been a pleasure doing these for you. We'll see you next week for week 8.